A quick pregame look in the direction of South Dakota guard Kendall Holmes tells the story. Basketball is her happy place, and she's always got the smile to show it.
It brings me a lot of joy just to compete and get out there every day, and I just love it.
I think that's the thing that people notice first about her and keep talking to me about, even that they just love how much she smiles during games. And certainly her face will light up after she makes a three, but it doesn't really have to only be that. It's great plays from her teammates. It's just funny things that happened in the huddle when she comes out. She just has that smile plastered on her face.
For Holmes, it's more than an outward expression. It's a reaction to the fire that's burning within.
There's a lot of times you're doing strategy or tactical things, and as soon as we're done with that piece of it and I'm like, all right, now we're gonna go and compete, the smile just gets bigger and bigger across her face, because it's just it could be the simplest of shooting competitions, whatever it is. She just gets so hungry about competition, and I think that's what makes her great.
You know, when it comes to basketball and just bringing that competitiveness, I think it just fuels my fire even more than just going through. Of course, every drill we do is competitive, but when we make it like, oh, the first one to three wins, it just ignites me a little bit more.
It certainly helped fuel a successful 3-year run at DePaul, where she finished 6th in the Big East in three-pointers per game as a junior. But life in Chicago was never really her thing.
I wouldn't say I'm a huge city girl. All the noise, the sounds, everything that goes on, I'm more of a let's relax, don't need all the sights and sounds. I'm fine just chilling out, hanging out with my teammates and kind of making our own fun, not necessarily exploring all of what the big city has to offer.
That was part of the reason Holmes entered the transfer portal in the spring of 2023. It's also why a pitch from a place like South Dakota was music to her ears.
We had her on campus as soon as we could, got into her top 5, and when she started talking about Chicago, I just made sure she knew, we don't live in Chicago. This is very much not Chicago. And she said, well, I'm looking for the opposite of Chicago. I said, well, then we're perfect.
A pre-established connection with Coyotes head coach Kayla Karius also helped spark the process. But the biggest factor was what Holmes found when she actually arrived in Vermillion.
I'd never been to South Dakota before I came on my visit, so it wasn't necessarily a choice that was made lightly, obviously. Culture was a big part of my decision, and just wanting to find a culture where everybody supported everybody, and the program obviously wants to win and be very competitive. Really saw it for myself and met all the girls and spent a lot of time with them and the coaches, and then saw myself actually coming and playing here.
Her decision to join the Coyotes has worked out well for both sides. Holmes is currently 2nd on the team in scoring and has emerged as one of the top perimeter shooters in the Summit League, giving her and Karius plenty of reasons to keep on smiling.
I don't think there's another shooter that is like her as far as how fast she can get it off, how confident she is. I still believe every time that it leaves her hand, it's going in. Certainly there's different situations where you feel like it's a higher percentage or she's more comfortable going a certain direction. But for the most part, it just looks so smooth every time it comes off. And I love how fearless she is and how aggressive she is.
As a shooter, you have to have enough confidence to think that it's going in every time, but when your teammates and your coaches have that much support in you and that much faith in you that they think it's going into, I think it just elevates it a lot more.
A little bit of space for Holmes, and that's all she needs.